welcome
Hello.
Diane Parnell.
Hello, Becky. How are you?
I'm great. So what we want to start creating is a Wellness Wednesdays. So we're introducing ourselves today. And Diane, do you want to hop on and explain what we're going to start doing here?
Well, we're going to talk. I guess I'm Diane Parnell, and I'm a holistic wellness coach here in town. And Becky is a colleague of mine, and we've been chatting, and we want to bring to people an awareness and information about mental wellness, about health, about just about anything. And I don't know how you feel, Becky, but people could even make suggestions of what they would like us to talk about.
Absolutely, for sure.
All
If you
right.
want to
So
put
there
some
you go.
posts or direct message us if that's something
Yeah.
that you're interested in, that'd be great.
Yeah. Or they could post even on the live when we post it
Yep.
and just have some topics or whatever, because that might be a good idea. And then we know what people want us to talk about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sounds great.
I like
Yeah.
that.
Perfect. So for today, now that we kind of know the direction or you know the direction that we're going to go into, all of you know the direction. Um, we thought we would talk a little bit about Diane today and give you a little bit of a background on her wellness and what do you do, Diane? What is it that you do? Well, let's start there.
Okay. Well, I'm a holistic wellness practitioner for the last, oh my gosh, probably most of my life, but I went back to work actually as a practitioner about 25 years ago. And I do several modalities, so it's really hard to pin it down to one thing. Mental health is mental wellness. I shouldn't say mental health, but mental wellness is a huge um, area that really gets me going because of my struggles. And the reason I started doing it was probably because of my story, and I didn't want other people to have to struggle the way I did. So I became a practitioner so that I could help them and make their journey easier, if that's even possible, and if
Wonderful.
they choose it.
And I was really lucky to be able to read Diane's book and her story. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that, Diane?
Well, I really hesitated for many, many years to write it because I didn't think people would want to know my story. And through a lot of trainings and a lot of healing of myself and that kind of stuff, it became really apparent to me that in order for me to be, this is my opinion, but in order for me to be a good practitioner, um, people need to know that I understand and that I have empathy for who they are, where they are, and where they want to go, because I've lived a similar lifestyle, if that makes sense. I wasn't healthy for most of my life, probably from the time I was born. So the book is about my journey, the struggles that I had, and how I overcame them, and what I did to to bring myself to where I am today. And right now I'm in a pretty good place. So that
Wonderful.
makes me happy.
Yeah, makes me happy as
Without
well.
giving too much away, I don't want to give you too much.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
Diane, is there a place where we can access that story, or you're in the process of creating that now?
I'm still in the process of creating it. I would say I'm probably almost done, but there's still a few things that I want to add to it. And my intent around the book was I spent thousands, literally thousands of dollars on self help books and different things. And I always felt at the end of the book that I was left hanging. It was like, well, what do I do now? Yes, this all sounds good, but there was no plan at the end of these books. So that's really what I want with my book. And I'm not going to do it for people, but I want to let them know what I did, so that if they're struggling with anything that's similar to mine, they can go to those resources and check them out for themselves. And because I can't fix them, obviously. They have to fix themselves, and that has to be their journey. So just by telling my story and giving them the tools that I used, hopefully it will be more of a just here's my story, you know, and this is my life. thanks for reading my book. I didn't want it to be that. I wanted it to be something that they could use as a tool.
Perfect. And
Yeah.
Diane, is there something that stands out in that? We talked a little bit prior to the program about awareness. Is there something in that awareness that really stands out that you can share with us today?
Yeah, I think the awareness for me was really, um, how can I put this into words? I think for me, I was, I was very quiet as a child. I didn't tell anybody of my struggles and what was going on, not even my parents. And there's things that my husband didn't even know until we started talking about it and I was writing the book, because I was a very private, because I didn't want people to know. I didn't want them saying, "Oh, look at her." Or I don't even know why I did it, to be quite honest with you, but I just became very closed up and very silent. And I know how it impacted me in my life. And I became very judgmental. I blamed everybody for everything that went wrong in my life. And until I really sat back and said, okay, I need to take responsibility. Nobody can do this for me. I have to do this on my own. And it was tough. It was really hard. And I think when I really got to the point where I'd had enough of being sick and tired, I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I didn't like where my life was going. So that was really the start of it. And that was the start of all the self-help books. And it was actually my husband that said to me one day, um, "You're not broken. Why are you reading all these books? You don't need to be fixed." And I kind of stopped and I thought, you know what? You're right. I just need different information. So I became a researcher. Like I was, oh my gosh, everything I could read about health, about gut health, um, exercise, just everything, And then I really got into the mind because relaxation massage. I started having people on my table that would start to cry and start telling me their life story, and I did not feel equipped to be able to help them with that. So that's how my training came into play, about helping with the emotional part of it. And and that in turn helped me to deal with my emotions. And so it was really a win-win for both, for my client and for myself. And I just kept doing more and more and more. Like I was just voracious, whatever that word is, to learn more and more and more, because I wanted to understand. I went to doctor after doctor after doctor. There was nothing wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. I knew there was something wrong with me and I didn't know how to fix it. So I turned to others to help me fix it. And that's what led me on the journey to I guess you can call it mental wellness, gut health, brain health, the whole bit. So my training has sort of led me on this line. And then I met you.
Yeah, what a magical moment that was. I think
I
two and a
know.
half years
It was a
ago.
magic moment. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
you did a guided meditation, actually. I think that's what I think that was our first meeting for sure. Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
exciting. And so
So that,
um
yeah,
when you're
that's a little
when
bit
you're
about it.
yeah, so when you're educating people, what do you find some of the key factors in educating and sharing all of these learnings with people? Would it be food? Is it physical? Like what do you think is some of those key
Oh,
factors?
I think it's all. I think we've been taught for so long that not what to think and not how to think for ourselves. We've been convinced that there's a pill that you can take for that, or and not that I'm not bashing it, because sometimes there is a pill that you need to take for that. In my situation, there was nothing. They basically told me I would just have to live like this for the rest of my life. And something inside of me just went, uh-uh. So it's a combination of diet. I'm learning now that through a master class that I'm taking, is that diet is huge, and your diet affects your brain, and then your brain gives back false messages. Your vagus nerve, your adrenals, we have to look at our body as a whole unit, not just the brain, not just a stomach, not just a gallbladder or a liver. We have to take into account everything, and that includes our emotions. It includes our core beliefs, our limiting beliefs. Um, just a lot of that. Hormones play a huge role. But for me, it's when you start addressing that gut health that you really start to see the magic happen. And I know I've talked to tons of people that say, but it's so expensive to eat healthy.
Right.
And I'm going to argue that because it's not. I tested that one day and I purposely bought a few vegetables. I got what we needed for vegetables, and then I went up and down the aisles and I just bought like chips and I bought crackers and I bought a lot of packaged stuff and canned stuff. My bill was astronomical. And I
Right.
kind of went, oh my God. And this, I wanted to do this as a test, right? And I ended up taking most of it to the food bank. But I just wanted to prove to myself that it wasn't that expensive to eat healthy,
Mhm.
and I think the biggest thing, if you can't afford to do organic, which today most of us can't, at least have a really good fruit and veggie rinse that you can wash your vegetables with. And I even wash my meat before I cook it. And that's my own thing. Because I just don't want that stuff in my food. So
Mhm.
I argue with that because I know pop, cigarettes, alcohol, junk food, it's super expensive. Like, I can't
Absolutely.
afford
Yeah.
it,
Yeah. And it's those
so I
things
think
that we don't budget.
exactly, yeah, and
You
that's
know?
something, like, I see some of these carts and I'm like, "Ew," but that's my issue, I have to own that,
Yeah.
but I think, for me, it's about bringing that awareness to people that it doesn't have to cost you an arm and a leg to feed your
Mhm.
family, you know,
Yeah.
we can grow gardens, there's community gardens popping up all over the place, and, I mean, we're not total organic nuts. Like I told you, we
Mhm.
sometimes cheat, go have a night. That's part of living too. I don't
Mhm.
think that we need to be so concentrated unless you have something going on in your body where you really have to focus on that. But for me, it's the food, it's the gut health, and it's our emotional state of mind. It's our core beliefs, it's our limiting beliefs. And those can come from everywhere. That's
Mhm.
not just something that you get a limiting belief and you have it for the rest of your life. That's something that it's taught to you basically from our whole life. From the time we're little, we're told what we can and can't do. We're told no. Sometimes we're told yes, and those can form limiting beliefs. And believe it or not, those can control your life
Mhm.
in sometimes a good way, most of the time not so good. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
as a
Awesome.
hypnotherapist, the emotional, mental, physical, and spiritual body is, it's a huge connection for us in that little
Absolutely.
world as well, which is, very similar to a lot of things that you do as well.
Mhm.
So, what was the other question we were going to talk about? Education and how do you see yourself educating people moving forward? That was the big question.
Mm. Well, I can't
Yeah.
say too much right now, but there is something super exciting coming up. I'm not sure when it'll be launched, but I'm hoping maybe by the end of the year.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
collaborating with my buddy here. And that will be, well, I'm not really sure where it's going to go, but it, it's just that whole thing where now's the time to educate people and promote wellness on whatever level. And it doesn't matter where you're at. If you can only walk a half a block, then walk a half a block. it's
Mhm.
it's just getting that awareness out there that there can be a different way, and how that way can impact your health and your life moving forward. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, so some exciting things coming out in the near future. And of course, once we have some more information for that, we'll definitely release it and let everybody know. So that's
Yeah,
gonna
for
be fun.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thanks everybody for coming today and checking out our first little pop-up here. So moving forward, we hope to have different chats coming out with a lot of wellness people in our community, some more awareness on where you can go for healing, and exciting new news and programs.
Awesome. Thanks, Becky.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody, for watching.
Wonderful. Okay, we'll see you on Wednesday.
Bye.
Bye.